If you see all the Bollywood songs, right, and we're all guilty of grooving to them. You have Munni Badnaam, you have Sheila Jawan, you have Tandoori Murgi, Mast Mast Cheese. All of these, if you see a pattern, they're objectifying women. So we were like, why is it that Bollywood is objectifying women? Can we change that?
If you had to explain AI to a 5-year-old with one sentence, what would it be?
Your school best friend who's very, very smart. I make people very scared about what's happening in their industry and they will be left behind. And this is what we did with Aman Gupta last year at an event. There is no AI that can do 100% of your job. It might do your job 60%, mine probably 70%, somebody else sitting here 20%. But it can never do 100% of your job.
Hi, I'm Darshana Shah, and my guest for today is basically a tech genius with a knack for pushing AI to do cooler things. Gayatri Agarwal is all about tech, startups, and turning big ideas into reality. From architecture to AI, her journey has been anything but ordinary. So let's get into the world of tech, growth, and everything in between. Hi, Gayatri, and welcome to my show. I am absolutely excited to have you and host you. And your story has really got me excited. That imagine a small tier three town from Kisinga all the way to Barcelona, and starting your own startup. But I want to go back to where you started it all. Where at Kisinga, and like you said, it is just 100th size of Mumbai. And there is a girl dreaming to be in a big city, learning architecture and making those skyscrapers. And you come from a Marwari family, so you have all the masala of why you wouldn't be able to come all the way. So how did you break it? How did you make it?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. So my journey started with architecture, yes. I come from this place called Kisinga. It's a small part of Orissa. And like you just mentioned, it's probably 100th the size of Mumbai. So we can't even fathom to see how small of a place it is. Now over there, whatever we saw in TV was success for me. So I saw skyscrapers, cities, and I thought that's what success is like. So I always used to imagine and look at like these girls taking their head out of a Kali Pili in Churchgate area of Mumbai, and I'd be like, I want to be that girl in the city one day. So I just had this maybe the wrong idea that today, if you're literally building India, is how you can build India. So I was like, let me go build infrastructure, let me build buildings. That's where the journey of me wanting to do architecture started from. About the Marwari family, yes, I come from a very conservative Marwari family, but they've always been very supportive. It's just that they didn't know any better. The path to the end path has always been the same, which is business. In fact, as kids, I remember all the people around me would keep playing Ghar Ghar and, things like that. But, every picture that you would see of mine as a child, they would be like this. I'd be sitting with a book and with a phone because that's what my father and my grandfather would do in the office. So I think for me, that kida of doing business was always there because of family. I did probably push a lot of boundaries. I convinced a lot of my family members to finally let me go. I think the area or the part where I could finally convince them was when you get financially independent, because in the end, you're a girl. You also can't be with them after a certain age once you get married in the conventional format.
Yes.
So I would say that's where it all started from, where I first came to Mumbai for architecture.
No, I can really see the similarities. So I come from a Gujarati family, business family. We were not supposed to work, finally educate and marry. Similar because Marwari Gujarati, but yes, we also had to really, fight that, or convince them. So I can see a lot of similarities, but finally coming to Mumbai at a young age of 16, coming from a lot of comfort of your family to a Mumbai is a city of dreams, but it also can become a nightmare. Yeah. And then learning architecture here. And now changing from, structures to coding, like from concrete to coding. Where did all that happen?
So I think Bombay does play a very big role in who I am today. I did choose to do architecture, which was not the most conventional format. I did do architecture, which required a lot of coding and scripting. While I was doing that, I was very sure about one thing that, look, I'm coming from a Marwari family. Money has to come home.
Yes.
So I started doing a lot of freelancing.
Show me the money.
And that freelancing is what connected me to the outside world. So for me, like I said, right, I thought building a part of India or maybe a part of a city would what help me build India. But I realized technology is what is actually building nations. Like imagine, even if I look at a 6-year-old Gayatri in Kisinga, what I would see on TV is what was reaching me via technology. So I was like, you know what? Let's do something much bigger. Let's just build the whole of India on a much larger level. My idea was that I was looking at a lot of people working with products. I realized that we want to make India a product first nation. And that's when I started researching a lot that, okay, you know what? Now we've moved away from doing something in a smaller category to doing something bigger, started researching. Freelancing helped me a lot because I had international clients. Those clients spoke to me a lot about what's happening in Europe, what's happening in Australia. And then I was like, you know what? Let me take this leap of faith. Of course, had to go through another round of
Yes.
convincing. It's not a taboo, but you know, that whole process of taking an educational loan to go to Mumbai first, then to go to Barcelona is not the most conventional path that they had seen. So that was my
True.
first step. The moment I did that, I was like, "Baki sab to ho jayega." So
But I appreciate, when I look at my 2.5 decade plus of experience, and when I see you all Gen Z really, putting yourself out there, you all have the courage, you dream big, and you make it happen. And that's the story which I want to know more about Altered. What got you to, I know you came back to Mumbai, but what is Altered about? Because I like your tagline. It says, no fluff. And, you were talking about authentic, tools that deliver. So what is all about your Altered?
So when I came back, two things happened. I saw a big gap in people talking about AI versus using them. So data says that 90% of businesses, people understand that AI will change their business, but not even 30% have invested in doing something with it. Second, 70%.
But that's always that resistance, right? Whilst but by the time you start trying, because you have legacy tools and legacy, technology, just to break that is the sheer resistance unless COVID happens.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That plus the second thing that was the problem is even though they wanted to, they didn't know how. Because what was happening is all your bigger tools or bigger tech giants were competing against each other. You were using them, but who's going to deploy it for you? Today, we take an example of a company which probably doesn't have a tech team. While they can use as simple tools as GPT or a Midjourney or a Claude, how are they going to use their own data, use the existing LLMs and create a product that can help them in their daily life? That was a big gap that we saw, especially in India, that nobody is deploying these tech for India. The second thing is education was missing. We realized that for people to actually deploy, they need to know where to deploy it. Today, if I were to tell you that, hey, are you doing this in your company? You'd be like, I would love to, but I didn't know I could. So for these two gaps, we were like, let's build a company. It will do two things. First, we will educate and train multiple people. And in that process, we will create a roadmap for enterprises, helping them how they can use AI. And once it gets through, we implement it for them. That was actually the story of how Altered essentially started.
So you started even before. So generative AI is just 22 and it's just 2 years now. But you started where we were doing the machine learning and data, and that's I think where people were getting into creating bots and voice bots and sort of digitizing their journeys.
Yeah.
And you're saying that's when you got into Altered to really get into no fluff, only AI. What are you saying? No fluff, just AI that delivers.
Yeah.
I really like the tagline. Where did that idea come from?
I think essentially what happened is every time you talk to people, AI is that buzzword that everyone's talking about, saying, hey, I use AI. But honestly,
but that's today, right?
Yeah.
When you all started how many years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
2 years
By the way,
okay.
When we started Altered, GPT was already known by people.
Okay, it was already.
One thing that happened is everybody wanted to learn because everybody had that FOMO of, oh my God, I'm being, I'm left behind. I want to learn about it. So while we were teaching them, what I also realized is there were a lot of these people who would talk about a newsletter, and say that I know AI. But you're not helping any company deploy it, which is when we came up with a tagline that there's no fluff. We're actually implementing solutions which will deliver results which are something that can be calculated for you. So that's where the tagline comes from.
So coming to, I also read that you turned down global opportunities to coming to India. Do you now look back and feel that you could have, delivered or done more sitting out of Europe, sitting out of US, and or you missed the whole larger. Of course, AI is still but it's out there. Did you feel that you missed the bus, or you should have been in Europe all
See,
this
I
while?
think you will always have opportunities that will be bigger in life and you have to make your choice. For me, I asked myself just one thing. Today, let's look at an example of an Accenture. Today, like last year, I remember OpenAI probably did somewhere around 6.3 billion dollars in revenue versus an Accenture did maybe 20 times of that just by doing AI services. What I realized with that is that you will have like these larger companies doing billions of dollars in the US, and while it would be great to work with them, what is even greater is to build something like that for India. So I definitely sometimes think that should I have gone abroad to work first? Could I have used that time to build in India already? So today I would have more experience building in India. That question comes. But do I question the fact that I came back to India? Probably not, because I feel today Accenture is a big, like I look at that company with a lot of inspiration, what they're doing in the AI services,
course.
consultation, data privacy sector. So I don't think I would change that for anything. You will always have thoughts of this could have been a better, pathway for me. But right now, I really want to do what I couldn't, like what nobody could do for me, which is one, if I could get the kind of access to education that women get today, I would have loved to learn faster and better. So I want to do that and I want to change that for women, which is why we're doing so many training sessions. Second, I also feel like if the idea was always to make India a product first company, there was no point of building from outside.
Awesome. So coming back to Altered, can you share an example of an unconventional AI solution Altered developed that gave a significant impact to a client business?
So there are two kinds of solutions I can talk about, right? The first is how do you create an impact in the social, PR, media environment? Today, I think about it this way: what influencer marketing was probably 5-6 years ago when people were just getting to know of it, but today everyone is using it. I feel AI and marketing is there right now, where I think people are getting a bit bored of your traditional ads, what you see in TV. Rather, they want to be
Absolutely.
delighted by what they see. So we did a very fun thing. In fact, it was for Women's Day last year with Boat, where the problem statement was if you see all the Bollywood songs, right? And we're all guilty of growing to them. You have Munni Badnaam Hui, you have Sheila Jawan Hui, you have Tandoori Murgi, Mast Mast Cheese. All of these, if you see a pattern, they're objectifying women.
Objectifying. Yes.
So we were like, why is it that Bollywood is objectifying women? Can we change that? So we created this AI tool, and this is, of course, a long time ago, right? So currently, there are multiple easier ways to build this, but back then it was one of its kind. We put multiple billboards where Zepto would say, Amul Masti and a Mast Mast Cheese, and a Boat would say that, with a woman emoji saying this is a woman. So we were showing what is a woman and what is not a woman. And then we built this AI tool where everybody, like you and I, could use it to actually write a song for girlfriend, mom, sister, any woman in your life. It will be completely free of objectification. Now, the fun part, and it's funny, while training this, we realized that while we were able to train it in a way that is free of objectification, free of crass words, now AI is as good as what it's trained on. And the kind of results we started getting after training in certain category, which we didn't see, is that it was stereotyping things a lot. Like all CEOs are male, women like pink.
Oh, because it's launched that. Oh my
Yes.
God.
So AI was very biased. So what we realized is, of course, we changed the way, we kind of changed the structure of the AI, the way it was replying. But this was a big learning that we had, which is in the AI, in the space of AI, it will only reply with what has been trained on. And the entire data on the internet today has just male CEOs. And because of that, we saw that gap happen, and that taught us a lot. I think that campaign was on for about 4 to 5 days of that week of Women's Day. And we had 1.5 lakh users use it. We had, I think, more than 12 million plus impressions that came in. All your, big news media outlet picked it up organically because we were talking about a huge social issue. So I think that is always a project which is very close to my heart. But this was, again, in the AI, in media and marketing field. I would say in other categories, what we're doing is we're trying to automate certain things which can if not save cost in the long run, can make your way of working in terms of pace and productivity faster. So quick example could be a media company probably being helped to create an agent that can quickly take some information from the internet, summarize it, justify it, create some visualizations, give it to you as an automated answer. You use that to go for either a breaking news or a news article. We then also train it to answer in English, Hindi, Marwari, Bengali, and multiple vernacular Indian languages so that we can also make it reach different parts of India. So what would initially take a week or two, we're now doing that probably in 1 hour. So these are the kind of changes and automations that we're doing in the company today.
So, Gayatri, when I listen to you and imagine here, we've been all these years trying to, train people to not stereotype women. And now we also have to train AI and, educate. I think it's sometimes get really crazy. Now, coming to, whilst there's a lot of buzz around AI and everybody wants to get on the bandwagon, there is also fear, like, this Netflix movie called Control, how AI can go wrong. And we've heard so many stories and literally AI giving in a wrong sentiment, doing something wrong. So it can become, so there is fear. There's phobia that can my data be, misused, and, there's a whole deep fake and a lot of things happening. So now in this entire chaos, how would you advise what should the users be really careful about and be aware?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Before I give the advice, I do want to prove what you just said with 2 data points, right? One, I was reading this article where it talks about the Google trends, and usually you would see people using Google between 10 to 7, which is your usual working hours. Now, the usage of ChatGPT in India has mostly been between 10 to 6. What that tells us in an assumption analytics preview, that people are maybe using GPT instead of Google now for work.
Correct.
All of us are not realizing. Yeah, but all of us are not realizing that today, if we're using AI for work, and if you're using a free AI, usually the price that you're paying with is your data. So that is the first problem, that people don't realize where your data is being leaked, where your data has been given. Because one, if you know about it and you are probably working in that direction, it still works. But I don't think people are using the enterprise plan on GPT. Everyone's using the free version.
Free, of course.
The moment you do that, you're one, paying with your data. Second, when you talk about people being confused about AI, where to use, where not to use, I think it's a big problem today, right? We also did a very fun exercise in the company where a team was given the same task, and we divided the teams into 2. Same task, same time. You would assume that if one team has been given AI to work with and one only humans, the AI ones will naturally win, but that didn't happen. Simple reason being, the AI team was so overwhelmed with like hundreds of tools, and the human team was so sure about, okay, step 1, human A will work, human B will do step 2. So I think the problem that we usually face is people not realizing where the data is going, people not realizing which AI is trained on what, because the moment you know that, you know which tool to use for what work of yours. And third, people not realizing the capabilities of AI today, which is where the problems of AI scams, deepfakes, etc. are coming. For that, of course, the main thing is education, especially for tier 2 and tier 3 India, where I think people now need to be educated about how do you probably find that one thing that can tell you that it's AI generated. Of course, we're moving in a direction where it's becoming very, very difficult to tell because things have become so identical, your original image and AI images. But I think there are still ways for you to tell. But of course, education on this and education on the fact that your data is going somewhere, I think that's very, very important.
I agree. And in fact, also now the policies have to change. The governance has to change. Imagine we are in financial services industry and a lot of industries which is regulated.
Yeah.
Now we also have to bring policies and governance around the whole AI, and technology coming together. So coming to, where I was also seeing the resilience and how you are breaking barriers, because you said that scaling altered to 70-80% profit margins. And that's the way with a 10%, 10 people team. So how has it been? What has been your vision, and how are you managing this?
So I think for me, it was a do or die situation, right? I come from a family where they did not understand this kind of a business. They had always seen a traditional business. So one, I had to break that barrier and make them believe in me. Of course, once you start doing the kind of work that we're doing, people start recognizing you. I think family also starts believing in you. But that was the first thing for me, that listen, there's no other situation. I have to make this happen. Second, I think we believed that if you're working with such intricate data, such important data of people, you can't be working with hundreds of people on the first day, because this is companies' data that we're talking about.
Correct.
So we have to be very secure with the kind of accounts they're using, with the kind of laptops they're using, with the kind of server they're working with. So we were very sure that initially we will start with a small team. I will give you examples. Today, Midjourney, team of 10, 15 people, 11 labs, small team. All of your SaaS products which are doing better and profitable, because if you see data-wise, all the AI companies, they're now burning a lot of money. They get a lot
True.
of valuation funding, but in the end, they end up burning. But all the products which are now doing well are actually a team of max 25 people. All of them realize that the moment it's a smaller team working towards the same vision and your data is secured in terms of policy ethics, larger enterprises believe in you and you hold that credibility well. And I think, of course, breaking the barriers of the society was the second thing, because people saw me as an architect first, and then I had to make them understand why an architect is doing coding, right? So I was definitely in a very different space where an architect is coding is not something that's conventionally
Yes,
found.
and a woman, yeah.
Yeah, as a woman, that too.
Yeah.
So these were, I think, were the things that put me in a situation where I had to do it. There was no other situation for me.
So when you go to clients and you work with Dabur, to Zepto,
Yeah.
to Boat and all of that, now that you're a woman fronting the whole tech and AI, have you seen people barriers there, resistance there, or it's been easy for you to convince and
I think
a
the
win?
moment it comes to business, especially because the kind of people we speak to are either CBOs, CTO, or CMOs, it has been great. I'll tell you where the problem comes. Think of it like this. As a woman, when I go to a tech mixer, I think a man to man, they become bros. They go hug it out. They're like, hey, buddy, what's up? What are you doing? I don't feel that
The
energy
connection,
being there,
ah.
be it professionally on a personal level, between a male person in a male dominated field versus a woman in a male dominated field. I think that's where the initial barrier comes. Once you break that barrier and you've gotten into the system that, hey, now I'm working with this company, things are, I would say, smooth sailing. But the first barrier is very difficult to make, where is very difficult to break, where people, I have seen this happen a lot, where I go with another male member and they become friends so easily with another CTO or a CBO, where for me, unless the other person is a woman, it's very difficult to become buddies in the first go.
But how? So if you've cracked this, or is there a formula which you can tell all these budding, entrepreneurs, in your field, that then what should they do? Because so I remember, because I would feel that, so I don't smoke. So I will not have a smoking conversation. And, so it's very difficult when you're in a boardroom.
Yeah.
And similarly, you're facing with the CTOs or CBOs. So is there a thing that you cracked?
So this has been a problem. But there's a small trick that I follow, which is the bigger you are, the larger FOMO is that you're going to have. And now I'm revealing it. But essentially, the way I work is every time I meet somebody and I feel like I want to break that barrier, I just give them an example of something that their competitor is doing in the AI space. That way, they want to hear more about it, because either you become friends with somebody, which you can do if you share similar things, like probably, like you said, drinking, smoking, etc. Or you show them something that they don't have and create that feeling of fear. So I have taken the negative sense, which is I make people very scared about what's happening in their industry and they will be left behind. And this is what we did with Aman Gupta last year at an event. I just met him. I told him what's been up in his industry. He's like, kal office aa jao. So I think those are the ways that I have just very naturally, honestly, without planning. Now, if I study my own patterns, I can tell you this. But this has been the way where we just go, talk about what's happening in their industry, but they have not been doing. You can look at Attraction or an MCA channel and see where are their competitors not spending money, but they are. Can you help them save that cost or time or product or increase productivity in that category? Yes. So, create an agent, do this. It tells you what a boat versus noise is doing. And I think that has been very, very helpful for me.
Awesome. I love it. I love the rebel in you, and you're really a fighter, and researching well. One of the things that you said, you research your client well, you research their competitor well,
Yeah.
and go and pitch, do your elevator pitch around the competition. Awesome. This is brilliant. I think a lot of sales guys should learn this
Yeah.
from you.
It's in the blood as a Marwadi.
The Marwadi Khoon is talking. Awesome. Now it helps. So you have plans to train 1 lakh, people globally, and you're quietly already building an, army of AI agents, supposedly. So what's your end game looking like? I mean, do you really want the world to be all AI, or what is it?
I think right now I'm seeing a lot of fear amongst people. So my only agenda, and it's simple, I just get a lot of happiness and validation from teaching. It has always been the case. I have been teaching for quite some time now. Initially, I used to teach how do you design in a laptop using different softwares. To it became me teaching on content, like via content on Instagram, to now doing a lot of sessions. So we've been doing sessions with a lot of educational, like edtech platforms. We partnered with Upgrad, Microsoft. So this has been teaching me a lot that while I teach people, I'm also very, very like I know what's happening in the world, in the world of AI. That's why my team members who are also young, they keep telling me, Gayatri, this is the tool that has come. So I'm like, oh yes, tell me, I will go teach other people. So my whole vision has been that something that I didn't have access to. One, I want to give access to that. Second, I think I want more and more people, especially women, to be in this industry of male dominated field. So I have realized that doing this gives me intense like happiness. So we trained a lot of women entrepreneurs in Aurangabad, which is an organization called the WOW. Jenshi from the SF Bay Area came to India. Again, that was a women-led organization, did it
Lovely.
for them. So I think that has always been my, I would say, side thing, which is actually my larger vision, that let's help everyone democratize AI today, that even if you're not a big million or billion-dollar tech company, how is it that as a normal user, even running a small startup, how can you use AI? So democratizing is the first thing. Education is second. And third, if I can even play even a small role in bringing a lot of women into this field, I think I'll know I've done my job.
More power to you, Gayatri. I
Thank
really
you.
mean it. It's awesome. Just hearing you, it makes me feel that, wow, I want to join you like today. But so also the other area where I feel is, people are constantly, and wherever I go, when I've been asked that, is it going to be all AI? Because now we hear very soon AI in your workforce, you'll have AI agents and, bots sitting next to you and working. So what do you see? Do you see all AI, or do you see AI taking over our jobs? Because that's the constant conversation. Even earlier it came. What do you see now moving ahead?
So, NVIDIA CEO said this, that everybody today is fearing that AI will take away their job. I'm not denying it. AI will impact jobs. But what he also spoke about, and I deeply resonate with, is there is no AI that can do 100% of your job.
True.
It might do your job 60%, mine probably 70%, somebody else sitting here 20%, but it can never do 100% of your job. So while we're at it, I think that fear needs to go away, that I need to change my job. Do I need to upskill? Yes. Do I need to probably know which part of my job can be taken away by AI and then use that time to do something better in the same industry? Yes. So I think people need to stop fearing that AI will completely replace them. But very honestly, if you're doing a subpar job in a very okayish field, I think you will be obsolete. There is no doubt about it. I do not want to scare people, but this is the truth. So in the future world, I do see people using AI as today what the internet looks like, which is, it's the usual, like everything related to tech will involve machine learning, will involve AI, because that's the way to move forward. While you're using tech, if it's also learning in the background with so much intelligence, I think everybody will adopt it. So am I seeing a lot of AI adoption? Am I seeing every company using AI? Yes, just like they're using internet. But am I probably seeing AI replacing industries? Probably not. So that's where I stand today. By the way, we'll always have builders, we will have non-believers, and we'll have users. A lot of us are probably users. I am in the category of builders, but we also have non-believers. I think those non-believers are the people who will probably be left behind. So I always tell everybody, keep upskilling yourself, keep making sure that you use AI like you're using the internet. And that's what I think the future will be.
Oh, absolutely. The way it is disrupting, I remember, 2 decades back when digital came in, internet came in. So there were the same, the naysayers, believers, but everybody now today, you can't live without it.
Yeah.
So now the searching Google, you go and search now, literally AI is disrupting at the even faster.
Yeah.
And if you don't upskill, you don't unlearn and relearn, definitely you're going to become obsolete and dinosaur. But I absolutely resonate with you that, humans still, we are much more, authentic. The way we can emote, the way we can feel, it's not what really AI can do for you today. So you really have to sort of balance
Yeah.
and, coexist.
Definitely.
That coexist is what we will have to learn to,
Yeah.
I mean, in our lifetime. I really like the kind of, sensibilities that you have. I want you to tell the Gen Zs and the alpha generation that we're creating today, who are really in the quick commerce. They want everything in 10 minutes, instant gratification. But you have not seen life as instant gratification. You've really been there, rolled up your sleeves, worked hard, dirtied your hands, right? It's because it's not a quick commerce world. It's not instant gratification everywhere. So your generation, and what would you tell them? What is the message that 5 things that they have to do, which they think is, very easy money, smart money. That's a
Yeah.
conversation.
That's definitely a conversation. We've also been facing that in the company because I think what social media has done is you have a lot of people talk about easy money. You have people talk about, hey, do this, you'll get X money.
Correct. Yes.
We're seeing a pattern. Today all the Gen Zs, all the kids believe that they don't want to work in a job, rather they want to do something of their own. I always tell them this. It's great to dream that, and there's a different feeling of getting into that entrepreneurship journey. But even if you want to do that, the way to succeed is, one, always work in a startup very close to a founder, at least for 1-2 years, to see the kind of problems that a founder faces, a smaller startup faces, versus directly jumping into either building the business. Of course, there are ways to learn by doing, but you will see a stark difference between people who have worked very closely with a founder, has seen a startup go from 0 to 1 and then 1 to 100, versus directly just jumping into something saying, I will to just do this. I think today the younger generation is also very impatient
Right.
because Instagram is also instant gratification, right? The moment you put out something and it's good, you get millions of likes and followers, and that gives you a lot of validation. So a lot of people are also running towards that. So what I would say is a well-researched person who also understands the capabilities of how do you adapt to newer technology is the second point, which is just keep learning. It doesn't matter if you're in a job, you're comfortable, you're making a good amount of money. How is it that you are upskilling yourself every day? By the way, in fact, today I still ask myself, as a business person, am I doing something to upskill myself every day? I still take a lot of courses, by the way. I take leadership courses. I never want to stop learning. So I would say these are 2-3 things that a person definitely needs to do, which is keep also following trends and understanding where is the industry today going. There is no point of doing something that will anyway get replaced.
Correct.
So research and understand what is the next big thing, and that's what helped me. I keep saying, right, that I was at the right place at the right time. But if I hadn't researched, I wouldn't be at the right time. So I would say research, be very well read. Make sure you're following the right people. Make sure you have mentors in your life. I know a lot of my friends have their board of directors as their mentors. Somebody have their professors as their mentor. Somebody has another company or agency that they look up to, their founders and mentors. So have mentors in life. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Today, there are people who don't even ask, thinking the answer will be no. I always say the answer will be no if you don't ask. So these are some 3-4 things I would say a younger generation person should keep in mind to actually excel in life.
No, brilliant. I absolutely echo your thoughts over here. Whilst we spoke about AI and jobs, and you spoke about music, so what will happen there? Because imagine there are music IP, there are the whole plagiarism, what will happen there? Because if you can just create anthems and music like this, and if you just, and now you can also put an artist voice in it and things. So then where is this world going, and what do you see happening?
So there is a lot of conversations going around the fact that today, with one prompt, you're being able to do what a musician or a songwriter does for months and years.
Correct.
Plus
So the
art.
whole originality,
Yeah.
the authenticity.
I have different thought to that originality, and there are again a lot of controversies around it. Think of it this way: today you have a Mona Lisa painting and you have a Van Gogh painting. If you do create a new artwork, which is a combination of the two, would you call it your art?
Yeah, that's a good point, though. Yes.
So that's
Okay.
the conversation people are talking about, because yes, AI doesn't create something from scratch, but it never creates something that already exists. So while of course I'm not saying that doing this is right or doing this is wrong, the conversation that we should be having is that if there is something that is pure art, where a human spends probably a lot of time in front of a lake, writes something or paints something, I think the thing that we should be talking about is not what is new, what has been done in a minute with prompting, rather how much thought and time has gone with human effort versus what a machine has done after looking at hundreds of things. But honestly, we can't run away from this. Yes, a machine can do something much, much faster than a human. So how can we now either regulate these things? Because a lot of artists' voice are now used by AI.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that is absolutely the right thing to do,
Correct.
right? Because in the end, you're stealing data. So I think we definitely need regulations. We need things like, yes, if you do this, where is the use case? Are you allowed to use this commercially? Or are you just allowed to use it on a personal level? I think those are the kind of questions we still need to answer, and we'll find out where we go for that.
Yeah, imagine, because I love Arijit Singh. So if tomorrow I start creating his music, I mean, it just doesn't work, right? You're completely plagiarizing. So now tell me, now the women in tier 3 towns, like the way you have, taken this bold step, you've dreamt big, you've been a rebel, and you've really made it worth. And I know you're giving back to them. What should these people look out for? These tier 3 town girls who are having the dreams, who are having the passion, but they're not able to break the barrier. What would you tell them? How can they come back? How can they come like you, as in come to big cities or come to the city of their dreams and make it for themselves? So what would your message be?
I think financial independence has solved everything for me. When you're in a place where you are answerable to yourself and nobody else, that's when you can take these steps. So first you need
So your
to-
family is now happy with you, your parents?
Yes. I think the family also sees me as somebody successful, or at least that's what they believe. I'm yet to reach there. But when I think your family sees you do things without them, but you're doing well, they start believing in you. But when we come to people who are still in tier 3, but they want to get out of it, I always say that the first step is get courage and don't doubt yourself. The moment and I have always believed in fake it till you make it. If you tell yourself that, hey, you know what, I can do it. And once you've told yourself, don't doubt yourself again. Because I think the solution or the task doesn't come later, which is now let's start believing. No, first you believe in yourself and then things come out. So first have the courage, know what you want to do. And then third, make sure your first target is nothing but financial independence. That allows you to take bigger bets in life. The moment your life is a bit risk-free, you can take steps towards the success that you want to build without thinking or without having that skepticism of, if I do this, how will I live in my life?
The fear is
The
not-
fear is always going to be there. So I would say just work towards one thing first and everything else follows.
I really love the advice. You just, I'm not like one young girl who's, made it. I truly appreciate what you're talking. And coming to Altered, what you now see the vision 5 years down. So where are you, taking it?
So I think Altered's vision right now is to build a network of multiple stacks of tools, where instead of building one tool and letting the user or letting the company use it, what we want to do is we want to look at industries. Let's say in your case, we will look at an investment or a capital or a banking sector, right? The moment we look at that, can we look at multiple problems that a company like yours faces and create stacks of multiple tools? So we want to create these stacks and this network of different industries where anytime in India or even outside, a company is using tech, they should have AI in it, is what our vision is. And somehow I want Alter to be involved in, taking that step for the company where any tech that they're using, they should be like, yes, it was deployed for us via Altered, be it a small one, be it a big one. So that is where the vision is for us.
Absolutely. So if Gayatri is not at Altered and not really all AI, what is she like? What keeps you sane?
Travel. I love that.
Yes.
When I was in Europe, also, I think just traveling around all over Europe literally made me feel like what India is today, because different countries speak different language. Europe, even though it's a union, it's like, even though it's a continent, it's like one country, because you feel like there are multiple parts of Europe which speak different language. They have such a
Yeah,
different
they're
way of looking at life.
culturally different.
Culturally very
food
different.
different.
Food is very different. So outside of everything, I love travel. I love going to the beach, just laying down. I love mountains. So I think anything that's related to travel which helps me meet people is something I absolutely love. I have found new love, which is also in workout plus travel. So, like when you go for these retreats where you meet people, but you're actually doing experiences with them. Because I feel like the more you talk to somebody, you might build like a 50% relationship. But the moment you share experiences with them, let's say doing gym together, traveling together, you're sharing experiences. So you become closer to them. And that's what I have been now pushing myself to do over lunches and dinners.
Wow, very nice. And that's also how you make connects, right?
Yeah.
So Gayatri, now, AI in society and now it's been democratized in everyday life. And, there's a saying that we want AI to do our dishes and cleaning also. So that we can spend time and create more art, follow our passion, not the other way around. So do you think AI will ever reach to that point? And if they can handle our day-to-day chores and day-to-day tasks effortlessly as humans?
I think we're already
So-
getting there.
Correct.
There's this thing called Bai, which in the Indian term is called your help. But this is a new product called B.ai, which is pronounced as Bai. Basically,
Oh.
this is a machine which goes around your house, cleans it for you, marks your house, knows that, okay, if right now a human is walking, I'll pause there, I'll probably go around them. So these things I think are already happening today. If you go to
Actually, that had come out post-COVID also, no? During
Yes.
COVID, all these robo cleaners and all
Basically,
that as
in the end, it's AI, right? It's
Yeah.
learning how your house looks
Correct.
like so that it maps it and then goes. The second thing that you will see in countries like Japan, where robots have started serving coffee, we're already
Yes.
seeing in Bangalore that there are these robots going around the airport, which tells you where to go, where your boarding gate is. So I think we're definitely, going in that direction. Can it definitely be done by AI? Absolutely. Do we already start doing that? I think in a country like that, country like ours, it's a bit tricky, because for us, we have a huge population doing this kind of work for us and making their daily earnings out of it. So the question then is, do you want to democratize something with AI that is dependent on so many people's livelihoods?
True.
I think where we will absolutely do well as a nation is when we are able to teach that part of India to do something, much better, something that can not be done by AI. It could be basis human relationship, maybe some kind of job, which is in offices, etc. I think that's when this kind of democratizing of AI and human chores makes sense. But until then, if we have such a large population which is making their livelihood, I don't think India is the right country to choose that right now, when so many people will lose their job who are actually the kind of people who need money out of this.
True, I completely agree with your sentiment. But I know I was in Singapore and we had this, the robot giving and serving. And imagine this is the world we are going to be. I think we won't even blink our eyes. We'll have a robot at one side. We are doing something. I don't know whether on the dating sites now very soon you'll be dating an AI bot for all you know. So or it's a human or an AI or a digital twin. It's actually crazy because imagine if you're on a dating site and there is somebody's digital twin, or it's not, it's a fake thing.
Yeah.
There's so much more, I think, deep scars that
By
can
the way,
happen.
things have already started happening in that direction. We have worked with a dating company to do a lot of AI features for them. Of course, till the point the human knows that what you're getting from the other person is AI, it's great, right? So we did AI
Yeah,
generated.
as long as you're transparent.
Yeah, as long as you're transparent, it's great. The company that we worked with, it's actually for tier 2 and tier 3. So what we helped is, people are very shy to talk to the, other human on the other side when they come from a smaller town. So we just help them take the first step by creating an AI music message or AI generated first message, right? Which also Hinge is doing now. So up until then, I think it's still okay. But imagine what today movies like Control show, or what I did on my Instagram where I spoke to an AI and most comments were like, "You're lying. There's a human standing behind you." The fact that people could not believe that an AI is flirting with me in such a natural tone, which by the way is a lot of people said sounds like Ankur Warikoo, sounds like Amitabh Bachchan, sounds like R. Madhavan. It was very funny. But it's also very scary that some people just couldn't fathom the fact that it's AI that's doing that.
I almost feel like we're in a sci-fi world, you know.
Yeah.
Earlier we used to see all these things and, you know, those things moving. Now we have drones instead of, and now we'll have avatars.
Yeah.
And imagine now, in fact, our podcast also can be made with two
Yeah.
digital twins sitting and talking. Yeah, it's so different, you know, the world we are getting into. But so we get into rapid fire. Let's have fun because
Done.
I want to see the fun side of you
Okay.
after the AI side. If you had to explain AI to a 5-year-old with one sentence, what would it be?
Your school best friend who's very, very smart.
I would say somebody who can copy and write papers for you or write your books. One book or resource every entrepreneur should have or should read.
I think more than book, I think the resource of what Steve Jobs wrote to his investors, or what today Zomato's Dipinder Goyal writes. I think what every CEO has written, read that more than anything else.
Nice. One AI tool that has made your life easier, one or many? How many do you?
I think multiple, but one that has changed all of our lives has been GPT.
One skill that will never be replaced by AI.
Human connections and relationship.
Agree. A habit that keeps you productive,
I think if I do anything physical during the day, makes me feel very productive.
like a gym or
Like gym, dance, Pilates.
one thing the male leader could learn from women in business.
Execution skills. I think once a woman decides that I want to do this, I think they're very stern and they make it happen. It also comes from the stereotyped thing that women can't do something, which is why they want to make sure that they prove it.
Nice. What's one non-business skill that has made you a better entrepreneur?
I think the power of sales and convincing, which comes from my Marwadi family and blood, but I would say that.
Awesome. So I really enjoyed, having this conversation with you, Gayatri. And this is where I wanted voice like yours. People like you are bold, courageous. They have rebelled, but for a cause and a passion that they believed in, a dream that they saw, and they actually, went ahead and lived that dream. So I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
And what would you tell me for my show, for the Darshana Shah show? What is your...
I think the best thing that I feel you are doing is that people like me or people like others that you have on the show, they have a story to tell and you are becoming the voice of them. I just hope and wish that this reaches more and more people so they can see my story and all of the other women, male, in different industries doing something. So all the very best to you. I'm so glad to be a part of this podcast. I'm very excited to see how this reaches people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.